Hello and welcome to this edition of Unleashing Your Brand Brilliance, brought to you by Connected Women of Influence. We are on their platform called Women Lead TV. I'm very excited to introduce you to my guests, but first, let me introduce myself. My name is Marcy Bro. I'm a branding photographer, and I get to meet the most incredible women who are putting themselves out there and launching exciting things, and my guest today is no exception. So I invited Randa to join me today because we recently did a photo shoot together, and I really got to know some juicy details about Randa's story. And I wanted to share that with you, fine listeners, to inspire you on making some really bold, creative choices in your life and business. So before we get into that, Randa, please tell us who you are, introduce yourselves, and introduce yourself. Sorry, there's only one of you.
Well, that's questionable sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Randa Hoffman. I'm the owner of Radiant Wealth Planning and a financial advisor, money manager, and I'm also the owner of Radiant Tax Services. So I love taxes. I'm a tax nerd, and I think the two go hand in hand. So, might as well create two companies. Yeah. Why not?
Yes, they do go hand in hand. I know that from my own experience. I think it's so helpful to have someone that's doing your taxes also helping you with your money and strategies and all of that. So, when you're not, working on people's finances and helping them with their taxes, what do you love to do, Randa? What's your definition of fun?
Exploring, adventure. I need adventure, it turns out. I tried that, okay, let my life be very scheduled, and that I wake up at a certain time, I go to the gym, I go to work, I am done with work, and I watch TV, eat dinner, and I try that. I'm like, I feel so not alive. Like, really, this is it to my life? Like, really? Like, there was no excitement, no flame, no fire, no zest. There isn't anything. So I do need adventure.
Yes. And that weaves in perfectly to what I have gotten to know about you. So a little backstory. So Randa and I met a few years ago. She was hosting women's circles, for lack of a better term, but women's gatherings in Orange County. And I met her. She invited me to speak at one of these, and it was a beautiful gathering of women that are kind of like my people. I really loved the women that you had in that room. And then we've stayed in touch. And then Randa reached out to me recently because she had the opportunity to be featured in a very cool publication, which we can't talk about yet because
I know. Soon.
But it is a household name. Everybody knows the name of this publication. And so she had the opportunity to be featured. And Randa said, you know what, I really am excited to get some updated photos to represent my current kind of brand and state that I am in life. So will you tell us a little bit about the photo shoot that we did together? And mostly I just want to know kind of the reason why you wanted to do new photos and put, because you have beautiful photos already, but you were looking to update and relaunch an image, I guess. Can you tell us a little bit about that decision?
First, I was very intentional that I wanted you. It was so important to me that I had to work with you. And I even told my best friend 3 years ago or 2 years ago, when I'm ready to do photos, it has to be Marcy. And I wanted your name to be side by side with me on this publication. I wanted, my sole mission is to uplevel humanity. Who can I take with me that wants to go, right? Like, it's like, I got to take Marcy. Marcy has to be on this journey with me. So I just want to say, so thank you, because you are phenomenal at what you do. I've never seen anybody with what you do with your talent. So thank you for that. It's crazy because when I told you, I'm like, you know what? This is more than just getting pictures for this publication, which is awesome. I wanted to anyway. This was me finally stepping on stage, or it was so much bigger than just let's get pictures. It was, and here I am for me. It wasn't like, hey, everybody, look at me, because I really don't care about everybody anyway, right? I don't know if that's a good or bad statement, right? But
that's a great statement, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was more for me. It was like, yeah, look how far I've come. And it was really important for me to show who I am as this person, as this woman, which was very different than the woman that had those pictures 3 years ago. You
Hmm.
know, she was very insecure, and my pictures reflect it. 3 years later, wow, I've grown so much.
Mm.
Wow, the woman I am, I just love who I am so much. And I just want to capture that in time. And
Mm.
in this publication, this is what I want to show, who I am right now. So that was very intentional doing those pictures.
Everything you're saying is so beautiful and it resonates with me. And I feel like even in my own life, 3 years feels like a long time. You can grow and expand so much in 3 years. And I think especially the last 3 years, because we're recording this in September of 2023. So we all have been through some stuff in the last 3 years, let's just say. So I think we've all changed and grown in different ways. But so what I was really excited about, Randa, was the story. And this is really what blew me away when I caught up with you and what you were doing. So you explained to me that you were living life with intention and you had a certain outlook, if you will, on how you're choosing to live your life right now in this season. Can you explain what I'm talking about in your own words? Because I've never heard of anybody doing this. And I feel like what you're about to say will be very inspiring to many people.
So my lease came up, and I was living in Newport Beach, Orange County, and my lease came up, and I'm like, I don't have any animals. My kitty passed away in September, and I'm like, I am empty nester almost. Like, think about that. I'm an empty nester. What do I really want to do? I'm like, okay, I could renew my lease. It was $3,700. I'm like, I can renew it and just continue on this path of the schedule, wake up in the morning, go to the gym. I could do that. Fine. But I could put all my stuff in storage and go travel the country. The country sounded really big. So I'm like, well, let me just stay in California. There's so much here in California.
There
And that's
is.
what I did. I put all my stuff in storage at the beginning of July. I found this website called Trusted House Sitter, and I signed up with them, and they do a background check and all that goodness. So did that. And I have been traveling Northern California, exploring Northern California, house sitting for people. So people go on vacation. They put it, they're posting that they're going to be gone and their dates, and you apply, and, you have a conversation, and they pick you or they don't. And so that's what I've been up to. I house sit for a couple retired. They took their RV out for a month. I took care of their 2 horses and 2 dogs. That was the coolest thing ever. So it's what's so fun about this. You discover so many things about yourself that you like or don't like. Like, turns out I love horses.
Who would have known?
I love horses. Like, I want a horse. you
Mm.
know,
Mhm.
I discovered what kind of dogs I like. Like, oh my God, I didn't know this dog was such like this or this, like, and you
Yes.
discover areas.
Hmm.
Wow, that is so cool.
Right. You were telling me. And so, okay. And so the cool thing was that when we worked together, I'm based in Northern San Diego. And you said, okay, I have a deadline. This publication is going to be featuring me. So we had this short container to find a photo shoot day. So it was so cool because we put our calendars together and we said, where are you going to be on different dates? And then I matched up with my calendar. And I flew to San Francisco and we met up in San Francisco. We did your photos there. And it was so cool. And I really saw you, like literally saw you in a way
Yeah.
that really embodied your mission to say, here I am. And I just felt that so boldly from you. And I think a lot of people, especially you say that you were quote unquote not your grandparents investing, which I think is really cool. And the way you're choosing to live your life definitely complements that. So, what do you mean when you say that? What do you mean when you say you're not your grandparents' investing firm?
So let me say, Marcy, do you remember that when we did pictures in San Francisco, I said, there's 3 things I don't want. I don't want to wear a suit. I don't want to do the pearl necklace, and I don't want to do the crossed arms. I do not want that. That is not my thing. You see every other advisor, male and female, female for the right, the pearls and the dress, but
Yeah.
I don't want that. That is so not me. I hope that everybody in their industry just blows up that box, that container of that stereotype. So my container of the stereotype for financial advisors, she wears a suit. It's usually navy, and she wears the pearls with the white shirt under it. And she has her arms crossed. I'm like, oh, that's good for the people that works for them. That is not
Right.
me.
Right.
That's not me. So let's portray who I am. We had a cute dress on. We had the most fun pictures. You're so not traditional pictures.
No,
Right.
not traditional, but they still carried, first of all, you still look professional and polished because that's you. You're, you're very put together. You're very polished. So that wasn't a problem reflecting that. But, you really put yourself out there in a way that felt so true. And the photo shoot was fun. And I feel like that came through in your photos. Like you chose a dress that you wore with tennis shoes for one of the looks. That was so cool. You chose a pair of cool pants. You chose a jumpsuit with like really hot heels, which I loved. So all of the outfits were very appropriate, but they matched the energy of what you were coming to the shoot with, which I think you are really the poster child, if you will, for people living their brand. And you named your firm. So you were at a kind of a nationwide firm prior to launching your own firm. And now you have an independent firm, and you've named that Radiant Wealth Planning. What does that term mean to you? When you say radiant, what's the intention behind that? And I'm going to ask you two questions. What's the intention behind using that word? And who are you looking to resonate with when they hear that?
You bring tears to my eyes when you say that, because the word radiant, adding it to the firm, was very intentional. I have my spiritual teacher, a spiritual guru, and she's also my therapist. And she's like, "You're so radiant." And at the beginning, I met her like 8 years ago. Like, no, I'm not. So when I started the firm 3 years ago now, next month would be 3 years. I'm like, you know what? I am radiant, and I want the firm, her, to be radiant. And I want the people, the clients that come to the firm, I want them to live a radiant life. I want them to feel how I feel.
Yes.
Like this is good. This is good. I love my life. Regardless where we're at, you don't have to have it perfect to love your life.
No,
right?
No,
Yeah.
it's true, because we're never going to have it perfect. Let's just
I mean, really, that's honestly, that's so true. But yeah. So it was very intentional. Yeah.
And I think the fact that you and I connected it was also intentional, because I was drawn to your energy. And I think not a lot of people talk in terms of, energy, but there's a good fair amount of us that really understand what it means when you're putting out into the world a certain kind of energy. That's exactly what you're going to attract back to you. And I think that I really could see you for that. And that was really intentional. And I know that because I just spent that time talking with you leading up to the photo shoot and on the day of the photo shoot. And I really do think that how you show up is exactly how you are. Because sometimes people want to show up as a version of themselves that they're not yet. Maybe they're growing into that version, or they see somebody else doing something and they just show me an Instagram profile, like, make me look like this person. But they're not really embodying that. So can you talk a little bit, you said you had a spiritual coach. How much of that do you talk about in your marketing? I know you have a really beautiful podcast you do where you do touch on some of this. So how much do you lean into on your business persona in that realm?
Yeah. Everything is intentional. Everything I do I have an intent. This is what I want to do, right? I don't do something willy-nilly. Even if I do something with an intent and it doesn't work, that's okay. I was intentional to doing it, right? And so I think with that intention, talking about energy, and I'll answer your question here in a minute, but talking about energy is when you are so authentically you and you are so comfortable in your body, that is what makes other people attracted to you. Some people are not going to like it. Trust me. Some friends are like, but, and that's okay. That's okay because we were matching when I was that way, but now I'm this way. And so you're going to attract somebody else. I think that is the biggest gift to yourself, to learn who you are, healed, fully, completely, and show up that way. When you show up into the world that way, wow, that's powerful. You want to talk about creation and creating and manifesting that's how you do it. That's how you do it. With the clients, I say I'm a spiritual financial planner. Like there's no hiding that. Some clients, they're like, yeah, okay, that's cool, but other clients, we go woo woo. And
Right.
it depends. I don't care which way, right? I'm authentically who I am to them and they know. But if a client is like, yeah, that's not my thing, but I love you, Randon, your energy and what you're doing, and I want to be a part of that, then yes, come on board,
Right.
And you asked me the question of like, who do I like to work with? As long as they're nice people. They have to be committed to what we're doing. We meet every quarter. They have to do that. We have a minimum requirement of joining the firm. They have to be able to, commit to that. And so as long as they're good people, whether they're woo-woo or not, it doesn't matter. But the part of the good people is this is who I am. So don't try to minimize me because that's not to me in my definition of good people, right?
Yes, exactly. And there's a lot to be said for showing up in a way that really draws people into you're not going to attract people to you that don't appreciate that, because they're the people that you're attracting, and I know you have a thriving firm, and I know you have a beautiful list of clients, and those people have all said yes to you because they are I think it just goes back to saying, when you show up really truly authentically knowing who you are. And don't you feel like, being a woman of a certain age, you just get to the point where you're just more and more comfortable knowing who you are, and just you and I have made a lot of decisions in our lives to pick up and move when it doesn't feel right, to leave relationships when it's not feeling right, and to really, it's by saying no to certain things, you're really saying yes to bigger things. And I think that comes with the evolution of being just like in tune spiritually. Is that am I saying something you agree with, or do you have more to add to that?
Oh, totally. Totally. And I'm 42. People think I'm 30. I'm like, no, I'm 42. I'm a big girl. Right? They're like, oh. But there's something to it. The older I get, and even the crummy experiences has taught me about self-worth. Oh, I didn't know what self-worth was. When I was 35, I really didn't know. That's how I was raised. People can treat you any which way and you have to take it. Like, I learned boundaries. No, that doesn't work for me. No, I'm sorry. Without being apologetic, you're not being take it or leave it, buddy, because that's an insecurity, right?
Right.
It's like, no, I'm sorry. I had a tax client. I told her the other day, I'm sorry. I just don't think it's good for us to work together. Here's your money back. I'm sorry. This is not good. And that's okay. It was with so much love and care, and I kind of directed her to who she can go to. So you can have boundaries and still be kind and gentle and loving. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think it's age, and I think it's experiences. If I didn't get married and divorced in a year and a half, I wouldn't have learned about that boundaries. I wouldn't have learned about that self. So it's okay. It's okay to have those experiences. They're good.
It's true, because every experience teaches you something.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think by not staying small and inside a box, you're just increasing your evolution, and you're just learning at a faster rate because you're
Yeah.
challenging yourself. And
Yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna end this conversation shortly, but before we do, I just wanted to ask you, what are, maybe, what are some things that people don't understand about what you do? Like, is there something that people have like a misconception about, that you do in your work?
Yes. I get this all the time. So what's the stock for the day or the week? And I'm like, "Ugh, I don't know. I'm not a stock picker. Like, I don't trade. I think people have a misconception about trading, which is very short term, flipping stocks, if you think of it that way, or investing, which is long term. Another thing I was thinking about, today, I really hope that people reach out to a financial advisor before they want to get to their goal, before they retire. Don't get to a financial advisor and be like, okay, I'm retiring next month, so let's make this happen, because it might be like, yeah, no, you can't retire in 6 months or next month or next year, so get to somebody way earlier. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right. That's great. That is great advice. And I had that advice given to me when I was about 26, and I didn't take it. So now I'm kicking myself. But
That's
um,
okay. You can still do it now. It's okay. It's not too late.
oh, sure, yeah. No, I have definitely. I'm working with a financial advisor, and I'm very happy about that. And I can.
Yeah,
I'm freezing just a little bit. So
you're good.
end. But close with, before we end this episode.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Marcy?